Hey, strong people, Kalle Beck here from StartingStrongman.com, and today I am going to be bringing you some strongman news revolving World's Strongest Man, taking place Sacramento, California, starting on August 15th. We are just a few days away, about a week, and so we have the event schedule, the events, and the groups. That's what we have so far. So the qualifying round is going to take place from 6:15 to 6:17. Then there's going to be a rest day on 6:18, and then the finals will be over 2 days, 6:19 to 6:20. All of this is from the paid World's Strongest Man Facebook live stream, and that will be shown every day at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. So on Tuesday, June 15th, in the qualifying round, all groups will do a loading medley. 2 of the groups will do a squat lift, and that's 3. Three will do a deadlift. Then day 2, 3 groups will do the Fingal's finger, and 2 will do the train pole. I don't know if it's going to be like all of the groups that do the deadlift then do the fingers, or how they're going to mix it up. But that might be how they do it, where like since there's 3 groups doing deadlift and 3 doing fingers, it might be like people that do deadlift also do fingers, and people that do train pull also do squat. But that's not confirmed. That's speculation. Then qualifying round day 3 will be all groups do an overhead medley, then all groups do a pickaxe hold. So that'll be a pretty brutal combo, doing an overhead medley, then doing a front hold, which I assume is what it could be on the side. Don't know. But either way, it's a test of stamina, especially in the shoulders. And then whoever has the most points in each group, 5 people advance. Then we do second and third do a stone off, just like the past 3 years, or however many years. Then June 19th, the finals day 1 will be a Giants medley, and I think that's some sort of yoke into farmers or frame kind of thing. The Titans turntable, where there's like a train where you have to move it from track to track and you push it in a circle, kind of like the Wheel of Pain that the Arnold did, but it's they didn't have to bespoke make it. It already exists in Sacramento. And a keg toss, I believe for max height is what was said. Might be been weight, but it's not a series. It's for max height or weight, but I think height. And the Titans turntable is just cool looking. Day 2 will be a log lift for max, a deadlift, and Atlas stones. So stone series, the knack deadlift. Don't know specifics on how it's going to be, but it's going to be some sort of deadlift. A log lift for max is definitely interesting, but after 3 days of qualifiers and doing a Titans turntable and stuff the day before, and whoever makes it into the finals, it really makes a big difference who's in the finals as far as like who's then separated or who could place better. If good log lifters go in, we could see a lot of people going over 450, 205 kilograms. Or, it could be like last year where a lot of the biggest log pressers didn't make it to the finals. It's just kind of hard to say how these events will turn up because you got to see who makes the finals. And the other thing, I don't know what events each group is doing, which one has squat, which one has deadlift, which one has fingers, which one has the train pole. So I'm not going to give my predictions yet, because I can say out of these people who I think is going to do well, but it's kind of, I'm not going to give my final predictions until you have all of the information necessary. By the time this hits published, they probably would have published that somewhere, but that's the nature of making YouTube videos in my bedroom about strongman. So group 1, we have Maxime Boudreau of Canada, Graham Hicks, Travis Ordenmeyer, Brian Shaw, and Avars Smokestellis. Maybe I got that right this year. Anyways, out of this group, Brian Shaw would be the favorite. But, it's hard to say. This is an interesting group with Maxime and Avers and Hicks. Hicks is so statically strong. Avers is very good at moving. Maxime is really good at moving. Travis is an old wily veteran, and if you see him if he happens to get in the stone off against someone, uh, you just never know what he'll resort to as far as pushing a 400, doing stones. Travis, I think, still capable on the right day. He's going to give it all. We know that. Um, and Graham's so statically strong. What this comes down to is, you know, Graham's probably going to lose some points in stuff like the train pull, the train and the fingers, where, Avers might lose points in the overhead. Maxime might lose points in the squat or the deadlift, and Brian Shaw is going to be steady the whole way. But I would not be shocked if Brian ended up having to do a stone off in this group. Just this is very, very tricky group. And Maxime has pushed him before. Avers, Ivers was right there with him. Graham Hicks is, he can best people in the deadlift, but Brian's in a position where he could get second place in every event and just coast into the finals, and he'll probably win some. So that's the most likely. Just overall breakdown of that group. Group 2, we have Mark Felix, Johnny Hansen, Trey Mitchell, Evan Singleton, and Tom Stoltman. Tom Stoltman is probably the premier of this group. Obviously, getting second at Worlds last year, but it's a very interesting group with Trey Mitchell and Evan Singleton. I'd say are the clear 2 and 3 in that, and that's a good matchup. Johnny Hansen's always in there. I think he looks like someone that could do really well at the pickaxe hold, and you can never count out Mark Felix in some events. It's just the overhead he definitely struggles in. But I would say, let's just put it this way. What if Trey Mitchell versus Tom Stoltman in a stone off? It'd be wild. And I think if it's a series, Tom wins. If it's stone over bar like it's been in years past, Trey wins. I do believe Trey would outlast, just out of pure will, Tom in that scenario. Probably people that disagree with me on that, but that's what I'm saying. But yeah, and it's possible that could happen. Just this is no one's really going to let up in this group, but I would still say overall I would pick Tom to win. And out of it's, I'd say Trey going into the finals in a stone off. I think Trey and Evan are pretty evenly matched as far as strongmen go. But if we're going stone to stone, I don't really bet against many other people than Trey Mitchell, especially if it's over bar. He can maybe a series a little slower, but over bar, hard to say. Group 3, I feel is interesting. We have JF Caron, who, he could win this whole thing. I really feel. We have Ithor Melstead, Ingolfsson Melstead, Robert Oberst, Luke Richardson, and Mikhail Shivlikov. So JF Caron's the favorite in this group. I think he'll win this group. Mikhail Shivlikov is the second most decorated out of this group, but he underperforms at Worlds. And he's not a good candidate in the stone off. We saw that last year. He had bad luck in that event. Stuff like train pull he suffers with. If Robert Oberst gets a squat and fingers, I think he could do really well. He's also, if his conditioning is up and he's kept up on it, very good at train and truck pulls. Ithor looked really good, I believe, in the loading race last year, so he could surprise some people. And Luke Richardson, based on last year, just, he won Europes and went straight into Worlds and made the finals. I'd say he's who I'd pick for second in this group overall, but it's hard. I think Ithor was a late replacement last year, so it's hard to say um, how prepared he was. A lot of people don't realize that, like, there's people that get called up because, especially last year with all the restrictions with travel and everything else, and having to test and everything, a lot of things change, and a lot of people, a lot of athletes changed, and stuff was just changed last minute. But out of this, I would say Robert Oberst. I mean, sorry, J.F. Caron and Luke Richardson, but I wouldn't count out Shivlikov or Oberst, depending on events. Events are very important. If it's a deadlift, Obi's going to have a tough time with Shivlikov, Caron, and Richardson, especially. I don't even. That's just a tough group to deadlift in all around. It doesn't even matter if you're bad at deadlifting or not. Group 4, we have Adam Bishop, Terry Hollins, Konstantin Janashia, Jerry Pritchett, and Chris Von der Lind from South Africa. Out of this group, I will pick Jerry Pritchett to win it. And I don't know how healthy Konstantin has been, but bearing a healthy Konstantin, I think he will do well. Terry almost made it last year, but it could be any of them. This is a tough one. I really have to see the events. Talk about another tough deadlifting group with Jerry, Adam Bishop, Terry, and Konstantin. But preliminary thoughts, that's what I think. Group 5, this is a really interesting group. We have last year's winner, Alexei Novikov. We have Kevin Ferris, who made the finals last year and won his group. We have Bobby Thompson, Luke Stoltman, and Gavin Bilton. Kevin Ferris and Novikov are going to go to town on that loading race. That's going to be... They might end up with the 2 fastest times in all of the groups. I would, out of looking at these people, just, well-roundedness all around, Novikov to win, Ferris, but, it's just... Gavin also was a late call-up last year. He just won UK, Ultimate Strongman UKs. So he's riding a high. Hopefully he's not too beat up. That's like a 3-day competition, and he only has a couple weeks to get up. Bobby Thompson just did the American log press record. He's doing 1,000-pound deadlifts everywhere. He's statically strong as all can be. There's the overhead medley, and Bobby looks like the kind of person in a pickaxe hold, especially if it's a front hold. It's different if it's to the side. Could hold it all day. Just so strong in the chest and the shoulders. Same with Luke, who has the British log press record and gave the world record, the best crack at it anyone has in the past 15 years who isn't named Zadrunas. Closer than people like Iron Bibby and Eddie Hall. Definitely the closest anyone's been. And Kevin just is so tenacious. His conditioning's probably as good as anyone here who's not named Novikov, and a great athlete. This, I really feel, is the most interesting group, and out of all of them, the most I'd like to see. It's probably also the youngest group, I would assume, unless Gavin Bilton is 37, or he might have been born in 1930 with that mustache, or 1830. That's just some quick thoughts on World's Strongest Man heats, events. As more news happens, I will try to bring it to you and talk about it. And of course, you can watch the Facebook Live from World's Strongest Man every day during it at 4 p.m. Pacific. And you just have to pay $2.99 on the World's Strongest Man Facebook page. Thanks for watching.